Today, the New York Giants will give Randy Dean his first start at quarterback. Dean, playing in the place of the injured Joe Pisarcik, has thrown only 15 passes this year and is making only his third appearance in an NFL game. The Cardinals will counter with 13-year veteran Jim Hart, who last week went over 2,500 yards in passing for the season, the sixth time in his career. It's the Cardinals against the Giants.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to see and test drive the all-new LTD and Mustang. The Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Kmart Automotive Centers, where quality auto products are Kmart price.
Welcome to Giant Stadium, as today the New York Giants, with a 5-9 record, play host to the St. Louis Cardinals, who have an identical 5-9 record coming into today, and it is cold, 30 degrees, and you see the chill factor is now 1 degree. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender, along with Hank Stram. Hank, we have two teams with identical records, but headed in different directions. We have the Giants, who've lost 6 in a row. The Cardinals have won 5 of the last 6. The Cards are making a comeback.
Yes, they are, and they're doing it with their defense. They've really played terrifically well the last part of the season defensively. And to illustrate this point, in the first 8 games, people rushed for 1,514 yards against them. In the last 6 games, they've rushed for 610. Rushing average 189 in the first 8 games, 102 in the last 6. Pass yards are dramatically different too, but that's where the real difference has been.
On the other hand, as you look at the Giants, when they were 5-3 and then went into the tailspin, they lost 5 very close football games.
Well, that can happen to anybody, Gary, and it's always sad when it does happen because, especially with a young team, you win some close games and if you lose a lot of close ones, why sometimes it can have a very telling effect on a young squad.
Jim Tunney and his crew working today's game. The field has been swept off. It snowed last night in the area, and it looks like it'll be in pretty good condition. However, the near sideline does have some frozen snow on it, and it could affect the sideline pattern. Back deep now, the Cardinals to receive this kickoff from Joe Danello. Gordon Bell, number 20, is joined back there by Willard Harrell, and the ball is blown off the tee. And I don't know what the wind is, but, Hank, it's got to be gusting up to about 25 miles per hour here. It is really coming as you see the flags to our left.
And I think, really, the Giants are going to have somebody have to hold the football because it won't stay on the tee of its own accord. And this is what they're doing. They're going to hold the ball for him so he can get the ball off in good shape.
The interesting thing is the Giants won the toss, and they elected to kick off.
It's a wise thing, really, because the wind should be a factor. And in this kind of climate, why you want to make a team have to go 80 yards, and it's very difficult to do on a day like this one.
And interestingly enough, kicking into the wind at time, Danello really got into it. And so the Cardinals will set it up from the 20-yard line. And let's check them offensively. Keith Wortman, who's found a home at left tackle, replacing the injured Roger Finney. Dan Dierdorf, the all-pro, on that right-hand side, a very fine offensive line. They've allowed only 20 sacks. Dave Steep will go in place of Mel Gray. Gray is out for the day with an ankle. Tilley with 54 catches. Hart, and we'll check it, is Will Harrell back there. We had to wait for the last moment along. Looks like they're starting Jim Otis, and they are. A fumble on the first play. The Giants have it. Ernie Jones has picked it up, and Jones brings it inside the 20-yard line, and that is one of the reasons the Giants elected to kick off.
Yes, it is a very smart thing to do. I know when I was in Kansas City with the weather factor like it was, we like to do that because this thing can happen. Here you see the ball carrier going through the hole. He's tackled. The ball pops loose, and it's recovered there in good shape. The New York Giants now have possession, 1st and 10 on about the 19-yard line going in.
Well, I tell you, Harrell has been playing with some bad problems with an ankle. They didn't know whether he'd start or not. He loses the ball. Jim Otis, they didn't know if he'd start. He's in there. But this is a beat-up St. Louis Cardinal team. Doug Coder and Dan Dornick are the two starting backs for the Giants. We have a flag as Coder carries to the 16-yard line. It looked like Dornick, the fine-looking rookie out of Washington State who's playing with a broken wrist, fired off before the ball was snapped.
That's a bad way to start when you have such good field position. Now you wind up making it 1st and 15 instead of 1st and 10.
Jim Tunney now to step it off. We understand the microphone is not working at this stage, but we can tell you it was illegal motion against the New York Giants. A 5-yard step off. back to the 24-yard line. It'll be first down, 15 yards to go for the Giants. The Giants, if they lose today, will finish in last place in the NFC regardless of what happens next week. And they want to avoid that and end the 6-game losing streak. Here comes Randy Dean on an option, and he is to the 15, and he's out of bounds. And we can expect to see Randy Dean carrying the ball a lot. He had 63 yards last week against the Rams.
There's a 9-yard gain and a very effective play, an option play, something that the teams in the professional football do not see very often. And it was very obvious that they were not prepared for that, and he made a nice gain that time.
There's the offensive line for the Giants. Clack, according to Dan Deerdorf for the Cardinals, should be in the Pro Bowl. He's very impressed with him. Perkins, Robinson, and Shirk. And then Dean has Coder and Dornick instead of Zonka. Dornick is in there now at a running back with Doug Coder. This is Coder on a second down and 5, and he's got to get to about the 15-yard line, and that's all. Good reaction by Tim Carney. Carney in the starting role has won his job back, replacing Kurt Allerman, who began the year as a middle linebacker in that starting role.
Ken Green, number 37, also came up fast on the play, the strong safety, and did a good job of forcing the play.
There is that linebacking core. Steve Neal, what an underrated player he's been this year for Bud Wilkinson's crew. And back deep, we have a change. Roger Worley playing free safety for the first time because Ken Stone's on the injured reserve list. And Perry Smith now has moved to right corner to replace Worley in that spot. So some shuffling of the lineups because of injuries here in the 15th week of the season. Play action by Dean on a 3rd and 6. He's got Gary Shirk. And Shirk is not going to get the first down. He's to the 13 and a half as Roger Worley is over there. And the field goal team will be coming in. And Joe Danello, who has kicked a field goal in 15 straight games, setting a Giants record, will come in and attempt this one. Now, as we look at it, he'll be kicking into the wind, but it didn't seem to faze him on the kickoff.
No, it didn't, and the Giants are very lucky if they can come out of here with just 3 points with the field position that the New York Giants got on that fumble recovery.
This will be a 30-yard attempt. Larry Mallory holds. Danello's kick is on the way, and the Giants are on the scoreboard. The New York Giants, at the 13:43 mark of this first quarter of play, have taken a 3-0 lead on a 30-yard field goal by Joe Danello, who's hit one now in 16 straight.
Introducing a new American road car. The all-new Ford LTD for $79, with more front seat room, more rear seat room, more window area, and more handling ease than last year's LTD. Plus the power of a V8 engine standard. A road car to take you across town or across the country.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
To test drive the all-new LTD on your own roads, see your Ford dealer today.
The problem? United States Steel wanted any service rep in any district sales office to be able to check the status of a customer's order on the spot and in detail. This was a classic communications problem, so they called in the Bell System experts.
Their solution, a network of 400 high-speed Bell terminals in 29 locations. This gives service reps instant access to the facts they need. Another case that shows the system is the solution.
The New York Giants with a 3-0 lead. You know, the Giants this year have scored 90 points in the first quarter. Only Miami has scored more points in the first quarter this year in the National Football League.
Yeah, they've gotten a good jump on teams, and unfortunately in 5 games, they had control of the game and wound up losing those games, and that really is tough.
Here's the kick by Joe Danello. This is Gordon Bell backpedaling. And for 2 consecutive kicks, Joe Danello has really gotten into him. No return, and they'll bring it out now to the 20-yard line. So the fumble by Harrell converted into a 30-yard field goal by Joe Danello. And the Giants are on top. Earlier this year, the Cardinals defeated the New York Giants 20-10 in Busch Stadium. There's that forward wall. Gary Jeter, of course, out of there with the injury. Van Pelt, Carson, and Kelly, excellent. And back deep, they have some injury problems. As an end result, they're shifting around. McKinney's moved from safety to corner. Mallory starting at a safety spot. Jim Otis is in the backfield along with Willard Harrell from the 20-yard line. Jim Hart up to Jim Otis. And Otis goes for 3 yards. Otis was not expected to start today. He's been having all kinds of problems with the knee. But he's the kind of guy, Hank, that always seems to answer the bell, or as you say, dance every dance.
Yeah, he's always ready to play. He's a great competitor, a very consistent performer, and as you say, loves to play and loves to compete. You know, the Giants are 8th in total offense in the National Football Conference, 4th against the run and 9th against the pass. St. Louis is 3rd in total offense, 11 against rushing and 4 passing.
Second down and 6 now for the Cardinals. Gain of 4. Here comes Otis again. He's got the first down across the 30, and Otis up to the 35-yard line. A big hole that time. Larry Mallory over to make the tackle for the Giants. First down, St. Louis.
It's an off-tackle play. They hand off to Otis from his fullback spot. A good block on Van Pelt. Otis runs through the traffic in good shape and makes 11 yards on the play, but it was a plain vanilla play off tackle, and he did a good job of squirting through there and making the necessary yardage for the first down.
Jim Otis having quite a year. The all-time rusher for the Cardinals. Here comes to Will Harrell, and Harrell, forward progress will be short of the 40-yard line. John Mendenhall making the stop for the Giants. Back to Otis. He scored 8 touchdowns this year. That's a career high in a season for him. He became the all-time leading rusher for the Cardinals this season, as well as the most rushes in the history of the St. Louis Cardinals.
You know, the St. Louis Cardinals evidently look like they want to run to the right. They want to run at Martin, the left end, number 75, and it looks like they came off the elevator with that thought in mind.
Second down and 6. You saw that short Cleveland and the Jets. The loser of that one, it's all over in the playoffs. Here's Dave Steep, the rookie. Defended very well that time by Terry Jackson, another rookie out of San Diego State. Dave Steep playing in place of Mel Gray. And I'll tell you, the Cardinals would like to have had Mel Gray. He's been a giant killer through the years.
Well, he makes you sweat. You know, anytime he's out there at that flanker position, the defensive back has to worry about playing very deep because he's got such outstanding speed, and when he's not in there, it makes a tremendous difference. You have to say on that last play, Terry Jackson really did a great job, the left cornerback, number 24, on that square-out pattern. A square-out meaning that he goes down about 6 yards and breaks to the sideline.
Third down and 6. Jackson, you mentioned, has 5 interceptions this year. Here's Hart on the third down. Good protection. Steep. He's got it for the first down. Dave Steep, who last week caught a 53-yard touchdown strike, latches on to a pass, good for 12 yards and a first down.
You know, it's unusual that he could throw that pass into that coverage because they doubled the outside receiver with 2 people. He stopped right between both of them, made a great catch, and a first down for the St. Louis Cardinals. But it's unusual that you could throw that kind of a pass when they are in double coverage like they were on that last play.
Scott Laidlaw scored a touchdown for the Cowboys. They lead Philadelphia 7-0 in the first quarter. First down here at the 47 of New York. Otis with a big hole again, and he's close to the 41-yard line. Harry Carson making the stop. One thing we should point out about the Cardinals is they've always liked to run right, but with the play of Wortman and Young on the left side, they can go either way very effectively.
Yes, and they did a good job that last time, and that time they ran at Troy Archer, of course, and Gregory. But here again, there was nothing but a kind of a key breaker from the fullback position, because normally, there you see a good picture of Bud Wilkinson. Looks like he's going to go ice skating with that cap he's got on.
He was walking around before the game checking all the field. Second down and 5, Will Harrell and Harrell inside the 40 to the 39. Troy Archer making the stop for the Giants. So we're going to come to a third down and still a long 2 to go. Speaking of Willard Harrell, the Cardinals picked him up the last cut from the Green Bay Packers, and Bud Wilkinson told me he thinks this guy can play. Of course, his big play this year was that 70-yard punt return against the Washington Redskins for a touchdown. But he thinks Harrell is going to make this football team again next year. Third down, a long 2 to go. Hart to Jim Otis. Otis looking for the first down, and he's got it, it looks like. Again, Otis showing the ability to find the open spot, to run to the opening. Brad Van Pelt made the stop for the Giants.
Here it is. It's just a reverse pivot to Jim Otis, blocking it on the left side of the line with Bob Young, number 64, Tom Banks, and they go straight ahead. Jim Otis really does a good job of using his eyes, running with his eyes. All right, watch the hole. Watch Harrell gets a good block on the outside linebacker, Brian Kelly, and it doesn't happen by accident. You have to knock people off the line of scrimmage. It looks like that's what they did on that last play. And, of course, Jim Otis runs so well with his eyes, meaning that he sees so well. He cut back into the inside area and is just a few inches short of the first down.
Boy, I thought they had it, but he did not. It is a fourth down, and the Cardinals are going to go for it. They have the ball at the 37 of New York. We have 9:39 to go in this first quarter. The Giants with a 3-0 lead. Pat Tilley, the only receiver out wide. Two tight ends are in. And they go to the big guy, Jim Otis, the bread and butter fullback. He has the first down close to the 35-yard line. And so a guy that wasn't even figured to start and maybe not even play today has been a big factor on this series.
You like to give it to him on short yardage situation. He takes a great deal of pride. Here we see him again. Kind of a high diddle-diddle right up the middle play. Nothing fancy, but just people knocking him off the line of scrimmage. Terry Steve, the right guard, 68. Tom Banks, 54. Bob Young, 64. Keith Wortman, all doing a good job and providing the necessary yardage for the first down.
You saw that Atlanta-Washington score. What a big one that is. The loser that one, they're out of it. Jim Hart on first down to throw. Pat Tilley, and Tilley with his 55th catch of the year inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. He's going to be about 3 yards short of the first down, and what a year Pat Tilley is having for the Cardinals.
He came into the game with 54 catches. That makes it 55. And I tell you, the area on the sideline area inside the stripe is treacherous because it looks like there's some snow and ice there. And it's difficult to execute the moves and tough on the defensive backs. Otis McKinney, number 23, or the right corner, I should say, Ray Rhodes, had a difficult time making the play.
Second down, 4 yards to go. Otis, he's got the first down. And he hammers it inside the 25-yard line. John Mendenhall again making the stop. And Jim Otis is a workhorse on this drive. A 7-yard pickup by Jim. And the ball inside the 25. First down, St. Louis. The Cardinals, not only have they been playing well defensively, as we pointed out at the top of the show, but they have started to put the offense together. Hart has always thrown the ball well, but their rushing game has picked up.
Well, you know, they've always been a very offensive-minded team. They do a good job in that area. They needed help on their defense, and seemingly they've come to life in that area in the last part of the season.
First down at the 23. Otis again. Boy, look at the blocking up front. Right now, the Cardinals controlling that line of scrimmage. 5-yard pickup just inside the 20-yard line. Larry Mallory making the stop.
You know, these teams are a contrast in personalities defensively. Gary, one uses the 4-3, standard 4-3, like the New York Giants exercise and are using it this time. And the St. Louis Cardinals have gone to the 3-4 of the Oklahoma defense. So it's completely different from the personality standpoint.
And it took a while for the Cardinals to change over. Otis now with 35 yards on 7 carries. A reverse play to Dave Street, and that's not going to work. George Martin read that extremely well, along with John Mendenhall, and that forward wall, Hank, you don't fool him too many times.
No, you really don't. It's a loss of 7 yards, but they really responded well to that play. Here it is. You see Otis taking the toss outside, giving it back to Steve. But there you see Mendenhall, number 64, doing a great job on the play along with George Martin, number 75.
Well, it's going to bring up third down now. 13 yards to go. The line of scrimmage, the 26-yard line. Hart with a good protection again. Beautiful protection. Broken up. Reaching up was Troy Archer. He had all the protection in the world, but you've got to give the Giants secondary some credit. They were very close to all the receivers.
Yeah, they had him covered very well, and they got a good deflection there by Troy Archer, number 77. And now the St. Louis Cardinals are in a kicking situation.
Jim Bakken coming in. Roger Worley to hold. They'll be kicking with the wind to their back. Cardinals with 3 kickers on their team, Steve Little, Mike Wood, and Jim Bakken. And this is going to be a 44-yard field goal attempt. Bakken's kick is too low. Ernie Jones is going to let it hit. It looked like a high snap from center may have affected the rhythm a little bit on that play. So the 44-yard field goal goes awry. The Giants maintain their 3-0 lead at the 6:22 mark of the first quarter.
This Christmas card was sent to you by the people at Miller High Life. Merry Christmas.
Jane Alexander stars in the dramatic true story of a woman dedicated to helping emotionally retarded children. Lovey, A Circle of Children, Part 2, Wednesday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
So Randy Dean and the New York Giants are going to take over after that missed 44-yard field goal attempt by Jim Bacchus. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Giants and the National Football League is prohibited. So taking over the football at the 26-yard line. The Giants. They lead it 3-0. Randy Dean giving up. Right up the middle comes Dan Dornick, the rookie from Washington State. What a tough year he's had injury-wise. He was out 6 games with a shoulder injury. Now he's playing with a broken wrist. You can see that left wrist heavily taped. But he's always played well when he's been given the opportunity. Last week he had 58 yards rushing. He had 79 yards earlier this year against San Francisco.
You know, that time the Giants were in a slot formation to the right, which means that both receivers are on the same side of the ball to the right side. Moorhead and Robinson were. It looks like they could run away from that slot side because the defensive back, Ken Green, is very deep on that side away from the slot formation.
On a 2nd and 7, here comes Dornick again. And Dornick is rammed out of bounds on the near side. His forward progress across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Carl Allen reacting. You can see, Hank, how slippery it is on this near sideline. They were really sliding, trying to get their footing. As we come to a 3rd down and 5.
And the other thing, Dornick, that time, number 35, the fullback, really kind of handcuffed himself because he was running to the left with the ball in the right arm, and as a result could not protect against the pursuit from the inside and had to do the best he could and get out of bounds.
The little things in football, right?
Yes, the little things make the big things happen, Gary.
3rd and 5. Dean on the 3rd down. Far side, Doug Coder. Doug Coder trying to locate the football, and Randy Dean not able to make connections. It'll bring up a 4th down. Randy Dean last week, after replacing Pasarchik, who went down with a knee injury, hit 4 of 14 passes. He's only thrown 15 coming into this game.
Well, that time he tried to hit Coder on a swing pattern, and he had him on a linebacker, Mark Arneson, but as you say, the ball was overthrown and falls incomplete.
Dave Jennings, number 1 in the NFC, will be kicking to Gordon Bell. Fine kick. Bell looking up into the sun, and look at the footing. To the 20, trying to get to the wall, and he's out to the 30-yard line. You can see the wall forming on the near side. Speaking of injuries, Kevin Byrne, the publicity director for the St. Louis Cardinals, is in a hospital here in Hackensack because of an emergency appendectomy that he had last night, or I should say early this morning. He was taken to the hospital at 4 o'clock. But our report on him is that everything is well, and I know he's interested in this game today. We'll be back in a moment.
This Christmas, you could give your husband a nice, easy chair. Or you could buy him a Rockwell 10-inch Homecraft saw for $279.99 and get him a $50 router for only a penny more. Or you could get him a 3/8-inch variable speed reversing drill for $10 off. Same with our 1.5 horsepower circular saw. Just think of all the great things he could do then, instead of just sitting there. The Rockwell Christmas sale. For details, check your TV guide.
This is the Kmart 672, Kmart's best car battery. Like another leading premium battery, the 672 is calcium lead constructed. Like one other premium battery, it's truly maintenance-free, completely sealed so you never add water. But the 672 has one other feature you'll find only in Kmart automotive products. The 672, Kmart's best battery, is Kmart priced.
47-year-old John McVay in his second full season as coach of the Giants, and it's been a troubled year for the Giants, who are trying to break a 6-game losing streak. From the 30-yard line, Jim Hart giving off to Steve Jones, who's checked in. Jones now playing in place of Jim Otis. Will Harrell is still back there. There's Coach Bud Wilkinson. One thing about him, he has been very, very even-keeled all year long. Great stability. Even though they were 0-8, he acted no different then than when they've won 5 of their last 6.
Yeah, that's not a time to get panicky. You have to really keep your feet in the fire, because if you do that, your team will do the same thing, and they'll respond well to what happens in front.
2nd down and 7. A gain of 3 on that last play. Hart doesn't like the football, and they're going to get another one in. So with 4:48, the Cardinals with a 2nd down. Thus far, the difference, a field goal by Joe Danello. He hit his from 30 yards out, and Bakken missed one from 44. Here's Hart giving off to Harrell. The hole was there for a moment, and it closes at the 35-yard line. Harry Carson. You know, Hank, there's a lot of good middle linebackers, but Harry Carson's got to be among the elite.
Yeah, everybody talks about it. This is the first time I've had a chance to see the New York Giants play. Here you see it's a straight-ahead shot. And there you see the play by Brian Kelly. Number 55 is also on the play, number 55, along with Carson, number 53, the middle linebacker.
Carson with 3 interceptions, 2 sacks. He had 165 tackles in the first 12 games this year. He's been all over the place. 3rd down and 5 from the 35.
They blitzed the linebackers from the Oklahoma defense that time.
They picked it up. It's a bad pass. It slipped out of Hart's grasp, evidently, and Ernie Jones almost came up with the interception. No question that ball just got away from Jim Hart.
It really slid like a slider in baseball, and Ernie Jones, number 31, was right there to make the interception, but it was deflected, and as a result, fell incomplete.
You know, it's tough. Jim has told me that it's the tips of your fingers on a day like this. You can't get the feeling in them sometimes. Hard to keep them warm. Jimmy Robinson will go back deep now for the Giants. And our kicker is going to be Mike Wood. There was some speculation they might bring Steve Little back because Wood, who was picked up from the Minnesota Vikings, has had some leg trouble. But he's in to kick. He was an 8th-round draft pick of the Vikings. He was cut and kicked well. Wood gets it high. Jimmy Robinson calling for the fair catch to let it hit. Over there is Doug Green to down the football as it took a giant bounce. And the forward progress of that football is outside the 40-yard line to the 44. So the Giants will have it. That was only a 22-yard kick. New York with a 3-0 lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we challenged hotshot Jimmy Powell to play the new Mattel Electronics basketball game. Jimmy doesn't know. Inside is a tiny thinking computer that plays like a whole team of pros.
That's it. All right. All right.
Jimmy's got the ball. The computer defends the bucket. He fakes left, dribbles right, shoots, blocked. Now, clock's running. He breaks inside. Powell scores. New Mattel Electronics pocket basketball with the built-in computer.
Hey, who's in there?
I bought the family's first Pinto because I liked its look.
It looked like a good buy.
But I took Mom's Pinto to college.
So we bought another Pinto.
And I took that to college.
So we bought 2 Pinto wagons.
His and hers.
Now we're a 4 Pinto family.
Join the Pinto family, over 2 million strong and growing. The 79 Pinto. Compare. It may be the best small car buy in America.
We're a 4 Pinto family now, but it's just a matter of time.
Right.
On New Year's Day, CBS Sports presents the Cotton Bowl, with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame taking on the Houston Cougars. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
The Cotton Bowl in Dallas. What a game that should be. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame try to defend that Cotton Bowl title against Houston. All right here on CBS. After the 22-yard kick, Randy Dean on the option to Doug Coder. Coder's got a first down. He's all the way to the 42-yard line of St. Louis. And Randy Dean, boy, that's a page out of a college playbook.
Yes, it is. And you know what's happening on the play? They were in a slot formation. Here we see the option. He pitches off to Coder, number 44. But the key really is Ken Green, the strong safety, is playing very deep on the outside because they have a slot formation to the other side. And as a result, they were able to make 15 big yards on the play, 1st and 10, New York.
Gary Shirk threw a big block on that play.
They got the same situation over here. There's a lot of room on the left side.
In motion, got more ahead. Here's a give up the middle to the big guy. And look at Dan Jornick fire up the middle. He was taking people with him. He's 6'3", 210. Steve Niels eventually dropped him a 16-yard pickup.
Straight ahead shot. Good blocking. Good blocking at the point of attack by Gravel, number 71, Van Horn, number 63, and Clack, 56. That's what happens when you do a good job of knocking people off the line of scrimmage. All he needs is a little seam, a little crack. He got it and made a big gain on the play.
So 2 plays, 2 first downs. The ball is at 27 and a half of St. Louis.
The right side is very vulnerable.
Here's Doug Coder, and Coder is tripped up that time by Steve Niels, who came up and reacted well.
They didn't handle Niels on the play, but there was a lot of running room. Had they been able to handle him, they would have made a big gain on the play.
You can see now, Hank, that Jim's got those insulated gloves on, trying to get those hands warm.
Yes, and he's talking to the people up in the press box, trying to get some valuable information as to what he should do the next time he gets possession of the football.
We have 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter. 2nd down, no gain on that last play. 2nd and, well, they say 9. We'll give them 9. Here is Dean on the option again. Same play to Coder. Look at him go. 15. Another first down.
They can run anytime they want to with the way they're playing defensively. The St. Louis team is playing their defensive back, the strong safety, Ken Green, very deep. And they have a slot formation to the other side. Here it is again. A reverse pivot by Dean. Pitch out to Coder. Going down the sideline with the ball in the wrong arm again. But it's good for distance, and they have another first down.
12 yards to be exact to the 12-yard line. Coder now has 30 carries. You know, he had 103 yards against the Cardinals in '76, 88 yards last year. He's played well against St. Louis.
Yep.
From the 12, Moorhead in motion. This is Coder again, and this time the Cardinals react very well. Mike Johnson, the nose tackle, first to get there. Well, you're going to have to make some adjustments, evidently, defensively, if they continue to run that option.
Well, the Niels that time was out a little wider over the tight end, away from the slot side, and it looks like if that's what he's going to do, then, of course, you ought to be able to run inside of him in good shape off tackle. But the combination of running off tackle to the right or outside to the right should be very good because they've got Emery Moorhead on the left side and Robinson on the left side, and they've got a lot of running room to the right side from that formation.
2nd down and 9, the line of scrimmage, the 11-yard line. 22 seconds left in the first quarter. Here comes Coder again, and Coder's got some running room to about the 6-yard line.
That was the off-tackle play from a different formation from a split backfield, but they pick up another nice gain on the play.
5 yards to the 5-yard line, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and still 4 yards to go, but we're not going to get it underway unless, well, wait a minute, they're going to stop the clock. The Giants have asked for a timeout with 7 seconds left in this first quarter. A 3rd down, 4 yards. A CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Superskates. We have some big names getting together. Robin Cousins, I've seen him skate from Great Britain. Outstanding. JoJo Starbuck. Ken Shelley will be there. The Swamp Buggies from Naples, Florida. That's a race over a half-mile course through swamps in indescribable vehicles. And then the world's strongest men, the refrigerator race. Get this, the competitors carry a 400-pound refrigerator strapped to their backs over a 100-foot course. All that next Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern, right here on the CBS Sports Spectacular. So Randy Dean, who's put a new wrinkle into the offense with his option, coming in here with his first start, and I'm sure Hank is gaining some confidence.
Oh, no question about that. And, you know, the nice thing about the option play is if you dare to run it in professional football, without the quarterback running the ball, the defense can play 11 against 10. But the minute the quarterback gets involved in running the option play like he has in this game so far, Now it's 11 against 11, and it makes it a different game.
Well, they always say a quarterback cannot survive running the option physically. In other words, you take such a beating, but thus far, Dean has been able to stay out of all kinds of that trouble.
But, you know, that's kind of a controversial observation, really, because look at all the quarterbacks that get hurt just going back into the pocket and throwing the football. And the damage is done once they release the football and they're spread out all over the place and get hit by an unrushing lineman. At least when you're running the option play, you know you're going to get tackled possibly, and as a result, you can prepare for it. And but there's not many people who have gotten hurt running the football. They get hurt more going back into the pocket and getting hit after they throw the football.
And it's been said, Coach, that the defenses are so sophisticated today, there's going to have to be some new things done.
No question about that. You just can't keep doing the same things all the time. And I think the one dimension that professional football really needs to get outside is the option play if you have a quarterback who has the ability and skill to do it.
All right, 3rd and 4. 7 seconds left in this first quarter. The Giants with a 3-0 lead. Randy Dean wants to throw. He's got a man. Shirk, touchdown. Gary Shirk, who last week caught a 4-yard touchdown strike, comes up with his second in as many games. And the Giants have now jumped up on top 9-0.
They were in a strong right formation. A play action. Here's a play action fake. They fake with the ball. Dean does a good job. The tight end, Gary Shirk, delays and then comes across the middle. He's wide open. Touchdown. A beautifully executed play by the New York Giants.
Joe Danello now to attempt the point after. That was a 56-yard drive by the Giants. Danello hits it, and the Giants have a 10-0 lead in this football game. The New York Giants, who have gotten off the mark so effectively, as we watch again, Randy Dean with this scoring strike to Gary Shirk.
There's a play-action pass that time. Again, Shirk delays. Look at all the time he's got. That's what happens in this area when you run play-action passes at the right time. Gary Shirk did a good job of acting on the play. Broke loose coming across the middle, number 87. Good for a touchdown. And the New York Giants have been very impressive here so far in this football game and lead against the St. Louis Cardinals 10-0.
10-0. The Giants scoring, and Randy Dean throwing his first touchdown pass in the NFL tonight. 60 Minutes, All in the Family, Alice, and the 3rd annual Circus of the Stars. We have 33 stars risk life and limb in that exciting circus. That's all tonight, right here on CBS. 10-0. The Giants on top. Joe Danello, who has kicked a 30-yard field goal, will kick off. Harrell and Gordon Bell go back deep for the Big Red. A little squibber. It's going to be tough to handle. Harrell's got it. Out to the 20, 25, and Harrell is bent back at the 27-yard line. Coverage that time by Frank Marion, a reserve linebacker. A return of 16 yards. And the Cardinals now having to play some catch-up football. They trail 10-0 as we come to the end of the first quarter.
He sure didn't spend any time getting dressed.
Linda, tell him I'll be there in a minute.
Maybe he'd look better in Hager's slacks. Or Hager's sport coat and slacks. He could even afford a Hager vested suit. And that's a look I can't afford to pass up. Hi.
Susan?
Close enough.
Hager, because looking good makes you feel good.
Ready or not, here I come.
The secret to getting ahead in business is staying cool, because somebody's always trying to pass you up, especially if you're renting a car. You see, I can walk through airports. I have an Avis Wizard number. Cool.
Oh, Mr. Bell, that mid-sized car you reserved, we just rented the last one.
What?
So we're giving you a Buick LeSabre at the same rate.
What?
Well, that's the Avis policy.
What a wonderful thing to do.
Avis now features GM cars.
Avis, we don't know another way.
Remember this, a Rhine wine by any other name is not the same. Next time you wonder what white wine to drink, think of Gallo Rhine.
Well, a 56-yard drive capped on a 6-yard scoring strike from Dean to Shirk. The Cardinals have the football. We start the second quarter. The Giants with a 10-0 lead. Jim Hart on first down. Dave Steep. He pays for it as Otis McKinney unloaded on him. But that is very close to a first down, and as they look across the way, I believe he got it. Dave Steep latching onto it. First down, St. Louis.
They like to throw that pass. It's a play-action pass. They try to make the linebacker get a sniff inside with a fake of the fullback and then throw behind to the split end one-on-one. They get the outside linebacker to take a little fake too with the faking fullback, and there's a lot of room. There's an alley there, and that's exactly what happened on that last play.
Cleveland leading the Jets 14-0. First down. Jim Hart gives off to Harold. He's got running room. He's across the 45. The 15 goes out of bounds, and that'll be another Cardinal first down. Will Harold. Boy, he got outside in a hurry on that one.
Yes, he did. They hooked the defense. They hooked the defensive end that time, Jack Gregory, and as a result, they were able to jump outside in good shape. Otis McKinney, number 23, was responsible for trying to get him out of bounds and did. But it was a nice play and a nice gain on the play.
Gain of 12 yards into the 47-yard line of New York. The Cardinals trailing 10-0, now on the move. Hart with the protection again. Over the middle, intended for Al Chandler, the tight end. Al Chandler, who has 8 catches this year. He's caught a couple of touchdowns. Harry Carson defending on the play, and you might see a lot of that as cold as it is today with those bullet passes.
And the New York Giants, you know, who started the game using a 4-3, meaning that they have 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers, now are using a lot of Oklahoma defense, much like the St. Louis Cardinals. So they have great flexibility in their defense, which is very obvious.
Dallas leading Philadelphia. Should Dallas win that one, they would clinch the home field advantage for the entire playoff. Philadelphia must win to stay in the wild card race. Here's Hart on a delay to Will Harrell. Harrell out across the 40 to the 37, and that's close to another first down. Brad Van Pelt, the outstanding left side linebacker, dropped him, and they may have to measure to see if they got the first down. They will. 10-yard romp for Harrell, and the Cardinals are moving the football. Both these teams are moving the football. Let's see if they got it. Boy, they did by maybe an inch or two. First down, St. Louis. The Cardinals this year offensively had their lines so chopped up. They had to make so many different changes. But what has happened, sometimes adversity turns into prosperity, because Wortman playing at guard and Steve now moving in there. They've moved Wortman to the tackle. It's worked so well for him.
Yeah. Steve has a lot of room on Mallory over on the right side. Oh, another big play.
There's Harrell breaking it out, and Harrell has another first down. Harry Carson made the stop. But wait a minute, we've got a flag coming up on the play against St. Louis. Illegal motion. That'll bring it back. Harrell is getting off the ball so quickly. He had a 16-yard gain, but it's going to be brought back.
And Terry Steve, number 68, the right guard. Dan Deerdorf, 72, all did a good job. Both of whom did a good job on the play.
Still having trouble with the referee's microphone, and from the 42-yard line now, after the 5-yard penalty, it'd be 1st and 15. The Giants 10, the Cardinals nothing, 13:42 to go till halftime. At halftime, the NFL Today, as Brent, Jane, and Herb will catch us up on what's happening on a big, big Sunday in the National Football League. Steve goes in motion. Hard on the 1st and 15. Intended for Otis. Nobody cleared on that play. He eventually went to his safety valve, but to no avail. George Martin putting pretty good pressure on. You can see the wind blowing against the jersey of Hart. It is cold today.
Here we see the pressure. You see Martin, 75, putting the squeeze on him and making him throw the ball before he's really actually ready to throw it. Throws poorly and falls incomplete.
Martin with 10 sacks this year, leading the Giants. He's playing very, very well. He's 4th year out of Oregon. 2nd and 15. Hart with a good protection over the middle. He's got his man again, and that's Dave Steep, and he's having quite a day. Dave Steep catches that ball just short of the 35-yard line, but still a long ways to go. It'll be 3rd down and 8 yards to go. Otis McKinney again making a stop, a 7-yard pickup. Dave Steep has been a busy guy in the receiving department. Cleveland 14, the Jets 3. The Jets getting on the scoreboard. Third down, 8 yards to go. Steve Jones in the backfield now, along with Will Harrell. That's Steve in motion. Stepping up, lots of time, and then he's hit. It's picked up. Bob Young, an offensive guard. He'll be an ineligible, or I should say, an illegal receiver. As that ball, that was interesting. I think Young thought maybe it would be ruled a fumble, so he ran out with it. If they're going to rule that, I think maybe a pass.
Well, I think you have to do the natural thing, and I think Bob Young did the responsive thing on the play. You can't worry about officiating the game as a player. You got to play the game, do what comes naturally. I think that's what he did that night play, and we'll see what the call will be in just 1 minute.
Well, he had time to throw, Hank, but there just wasn't anybody open.
Yeah, they had him all faded in good shape and did a good job on the coverage. And I think one thing, anytime that you see a quarterback in the pocket with a lot of time, and you see his feet start to become very happy, a lot of movement, you know there's indecision. That's what happened to Jim Hart on the play.
Ineligible receiver.
There's the ineligible receiver. Number 64, Bob Young, the left guard.
They'll be giving him a bad time about what good hands he has. Those linemen don't get a chance very often.
Yeah, it's ironic, and the one time he has an opportunity to make a catch, it doesn't count.
So it's going to bring up a fourth down. Ernie Jones, number 31, goes back. Wood has punted one time for the Cardinals, and it was 22 yards. On a 4th and 18, he'll be kicking from his own 40-yard line. He'll be kicking into the wind. And he didn't get that one at all. He shanks it. He was trying to kick away from the receiver, and he's not going to like the result. It's going to come outside the 30 to the 32-yard line.
That's what happens when a right-footed kicker kicks to his right instead of his left, because if it is off the side of his foot, it becomes a bad kick. The other way, it'd go right down the middle and would be good.
We start with good fresh chicken, like we know we should.
11 herbs and spices make it finger-licking good.
We don't freeze, roll, or chop it. It's chicken, nothing more.
That's a real good reason why smart folks come here more. It's so nice to feel, so good about a meal, so good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
On American Airlines, you get what you pay for. As a full-fare passenger, only you can select a seat when you make your reservation. You can select seats for your whole trip, including connections and your flight back home. And you can get all your boarding passes at once to avoid all those lines. On American, you finally get the full-fare treatment you deserve. You get what you pay for.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
Welcome back to Giant Stadium. The Giants with a 10-0 lead. I'm Gary Bender along with Hank Stram as we have 12:42 to go before half, and Buffalo, Roland Hooks with a 28-yard run leading New England 7-0.
Let's see if they run the option play again. They've had great success with it, and the St. Louis defense is very much the same.
That was a 14-yard kick by Wood, and Willie Spencer, who's into the game for the first time, hammers the ball out to the 35-yard line. And Mark Arneson, the right side linebacker, making the stop for St. Louis. So it's going to bring up second down, still 7 yards to go. Willie Spencer, he had a touchdown last week, a 1-yard smash in that 2017 loss to Los Angeles.
Moorhead and Robinson are on the same side of the ball when they go into a slot formation. As I mentioned earlier, Tim Green is very deep on the tight end side. There's a lot of room to run there.
From the 35. Doug Coder. Coder is to almost the 40-yard line. It's going to be a couple of yards short of the first down. Coder has been very busy. Tim Carney over to make the stop, a 7-yard pickup on the play. Third down, still 2 yards to go.
That was an option trap. They pull the right guard, J.T. Turner, number 68, on the play, and then they either go inside or outside of the defensive end. In that case, John Zook. That time he elected to go inside, and it was a nice gain on the play.
They go to a 4-man front now. Ron Yankowski has come in. Tim Carney comes out of linebacker. Coder now 43 yards on 7 carries. On the 3rd down and 2, and Coder's not going to get it. Very good reaction that time by St. Louis. Getting up with Bob Pollard, the number 2 tackler for the Cardinals.
Bob Pollard did a good job of the play. Also, Carl Allen, the left cornerback, number 27, did a good job of forcing the play. And the New York Giants are now in a kicking situation.
Dave Jennings to kick. Gordon Bell will go back deep. Jennings' first kick went 54 yards, so he is staying right at the top of the NFC in punting.
You know, I'm surprised they didn't use the option at all in that series because they've enjoyed great success with it. And I think anytime if you do something well, you ought to stay with it till they stop it.
Here's Gordon Bell, a former New York Giant, a flag on the play, and Bell brings the ball out to the 35-yard line. Gordon Bell, who was cut the last week of the preseason by the Giants. And I know John McVay this week said that it was between Bell and Bob Hammond who they would keep. And Bell has joined the Cardinals and has really contributed to this football team. But they're not going to have the 35-yard line because we have clipping coming up against the Cardinals. Jim Tunney will march it back to the 17-yard line. No illegal use of the hands. Not clipping. So we have a timeout with 10:35 to go before halftime. The Giants enjoying a 10-0 lead.
Introducing a whole new breed of Mustang. The all-new 79 Mustang from Ford. With a new aerodynamic design, precise handling, and Mustang performance from options of V6, V8, even a turbocharged engine. Mustang for 79, the new breed in 2-door and 3-door models. Capture one at your Ford dealer now.
This Christmas card was sent to you by the people at Miller High Life. Merry Christmas.
Next Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular, see some of the greatest stars on ice in super skates. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Boy, if you like ice skating, that'll be the best in the world in ice skating on super skates. There's the hot seat. You can see, Hank, they have the bench area there that is heated. As we come back to the live action, and Will Harrell carrying the ball. Brings it out across the 20 to the 21. Jim Kroll, a rookie out of Texas Tech, makes the stop for the Giants. Second down and still 6 yards to go.
The Giants that time ran with their tight end in the backfield. They're shifting him from right to left. That time he stayed in the backfield, and they ran a play before the Giants had a chance to shift to a stronger weak linebacker.
The Cardinals trailing 10-0 at the 10:03 mark of the second quarter. Jim Otis looked like Otis lost his footing on that play, and then he took a pretty good shot from Troy Archer, who dropped him right there. So they're going to be just across the 20-yard line, bring up a third down, and still 6 yards to go. Otis, 8 carries now, 35 yards. He's coming out, and he's hurting a little bit. Steve Jones replaces him.
And they like to take him out on passing situations anyhow, Gary. And that's probably what their thoughts are on this 3rd and 7 or 8, 3rd and 6 specifically situation.
So Jones into the backfield along with Will Harrell. Hart has protection again. Al Chandler, the big tight end, and did he get the first down? It's very close. Chandler dropped by Terry Jackson. He had help on that far side. A 7-yard pickup, and now it depends on where they spot the football. They got it. First down.
Yeah, I think they did get the first down, Gary.
So Jim Hart on a 3rd down, and again, Hank, and it's not surprising, he's getting all kinds of protection. This Cardinal forward wall has given up only 20 sacks. That's 3rd in the NFL. Hart in the game, 5 of 11 now for 45 yards in passing. Here comes Harrell. And Will Harrell, very impressive first half. Just a couple of yards short of the first down as he advances the ball to the 35, 7-yard pickup.
They did the same thing again that time. They ran with the tight end in the backfield. Good footing on the play, good action, a straight ahead shot, good blocking by the Cardinal left side, Keith Wortman, number 62, Bob Young, number 64, and center Tom Banks, number 54.
Second down and 3, and coming back in, the big guy, Jim Otis. And Otis has the first down to the 40. Harry Carson making the stop once again. So Otis out, comes back in. First down. The Cardinals have moved the ball well. That one drive, they were running well. Then they tried a little gadget play, a little end around, and it kind of backfired on them, and they've been kind of fighting out of a hole since that time.
They haven't thrown much on first down either. This is something that they like to do and have done very effectively in the past. They haven't done that very much yet. Of course, they haven't had very good field position.
Dave Steve comes in motion. Tilley to the bottom of the screen is also flanked out. On the first down, Hart. Pat Tilley. And that's one of the few you'll ever see him drop. If he has the ball within reach, he'll come up with it. But again, it is cold, and that time he just could not latch on.
The last time they ran that play, they hit Tilley inside. That time they had the same fake. Everything was designed exactly the same way, except Tilley broke to the outside on Otis McKinney. He was open, but he just couldn't hang on to the football.
You know, Tilley has the most catches for any St. Louis player since Dave Williams caught 56 in 1969. John McVay, he's got the big parka on. Second down and 10 from the 40. There's a little delay to Harrell. Brad Van Pelt had a hand on him, and Harrell won't give up. Will Harrell dragging people with him. Jack Gregory eventually dropped him, but he got some yardage he really didn't deserve to get, but just second effort on his part, a 6-yard pickup.
Yeah, it looked like he stretched the 2-yard gain into 6. Did a good job of running on the play.
Linebacker Dan Lloyd now coming in. Jim Kroll checks out for New York. Third down, 4 yards to go. Harrell has 57 yards now. He's headed for what looks like maybe his best day of the year.
Blitz. Hart. Linebackers are blitzing inside.
It's broken up again by the interior of the line. And I believe it was Troy Archer again. That would be the second time he's deflected a pass. So Hart gets the protection, but the secondary covers well.
Here you see Hart going back into the pocket. And here's Troy Archer jumping up with his left hand, gets a piece of the ball, falls incomplete. And now it's a 4th down situation for St. Louis, and they're going to have to kick.
And Mike Wood's having a tough time. He's kicked twice now for an 18-yard average.
He better try to kick it to his left rather than his right if he's going to try to kick it out of bounds.
Maurice Tyler along with Jimmy Robinson back deep. They're going to let it hit, and the Cardinals are going to get a good result out of this one as the ball is going down to the 10-yard line. You can see the footing give way over there. Curtis Townsend, a backup linebacker, falling down. A 44-yard kick that time by Mike Wood. The Giants have it at the 10.
Owens Corning built these 3 houses at its research center in Ohio to study the effect of 3 different levels of insulation. Nobody lives inside, but hundreds of electronic sensing devices measure the heat that flows out during winter and in during summer. What we're learning here helps us give you better advice about insulating your home, whether it's old or brand new. Want to know about insulation? Ask the experts. Ask Owens Corning.
Money don't grow on trees. Don't let money burn a hole in your pocket.
With money as tight as it is, more people are coming to Sunoco's penny pinching pump for $1.90. The quality gas that sells below our regular, and $2.20. It sells below our premium. And most cars that run on regular or premium can use them. So come to Sunoco's penny pinching pump.
Waste not, want not.
Because a penny saved is truly a penny earned.